This is the Yankees Postcast, your instant game reaction for the New York Yankees. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, the Yanks scored 6 total runs during their 6-game losing streak. They plated 7 today. Yanks beat the Angels 7-3. They snapped the losing skid. It's over. Hallelujah. Home runs for Grisham and Goldschmidt back-to-back. Carlos Rodon was decent, quality start. He earns the victory. And the Yankees avoid the 4-game sweep at the hands of the Angels. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Glad to have you aboard. Please follow me on X as well, at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Yankees Postcast, both on the Locked On Yankees YouTube channel and the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. The Postcast gives you a place to chat after every game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Before we start, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your very first purchase. And away we go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
The losing skid is over. As we said, it stopped at 6 straight games, a stretch in which, as we said, the Yanks plated 6 total runs. Well, much different story today. 12 hits, 7 runs, and the Yankees win game number 43 on the season. They're 43-31, back to 12 games above 500. It's the most runs the Yanks have scored. Get this. Today's the 19th. They haven't scored this many runs since the 11th. That was at Kansas City. Amazing stuff. Not 1 today, but 2 rain delays today. The first of which has got to be the shortest rain delay in the history of the sport. 8 minutes. As soon as they got the tarp onto the field, it stopped raining and the forecast looked good. In fact, it got sunny. So they took the tarp right back off and they were ready to go in fewer than 10 minutes. The second delay, which came with 2 out in the bottom of the 8th inning, a little bit longer. And because of it, we had to extend playing time today. All right. Snap the 6-game losing skid, as we said. The most runs they've scored since they were in Kansas City. And obviously, they got the job done with the long ball, specifically in the 2nd inning. Back-to-back home runs for the Yankees, Grisham and Goldschmidt. By the way, it is the 6th time already this season the Yanks have gone back-to-back. For Grisham, who's been pretty good, the home run was his 14th, but his first this month. Hasn't homered since May 30th out in L.A. against the Dodgers. Obviously, Paul Goldschmidt also going yard, his 8th of the season. We told you last night the Yanks now have 6 players with at least 10 home runs, most in the big leagues. However, even when the Yanks do score, there's still a blunder on the base paths. Bottom of the 6th, Anthony Volpe picked off to end the inning. Now, this one was not Volpe's fault. It was Austin Wells' fault. You almost never see it. First and second, 2 out. Obviously, with a 3-2 count, the runners are going to be off and going, but they take off before the starter, Tyler Anderson, commits to pitching home. So he throws to first. Wells makes it down to second. Volpe, who was on second, tries to make it down to third. He gets picked off. So officially, it's Volpe getting picked off again. It seems to be the season of pickoffs for Anthony Volpe. Nonetheless, it was more Austin Wells' fault. But again, another base running blunder. And even when they score, as we said, Bellinger drives home the insurance run. That came in the 6th inning. That made it 3-2. He was thrown out at second base trying to stretch it into a double. Now, that too was a close play. However, another base running blunder. despite all that, the Yankees were good today. 2 hits for Paul Goldschmidt, 3 hits for Cody Bellinger. Aaron Judge, he had a hit today, a Aaron Judge-like double. He's 3 for his last 28, however, and was just 2 for 13 in this series. Despite the fact that the pitching has not been good this year for the Angels, Judge is happy to see them leave town. As we said, the double, which he had in the 8th inning, right before the rains came, his first extra base hit, this is amazing, his first extra base hit since the home run against Crochet at Fenway Saturday night, last Saturday night. Folks, it's Thursday now. He went almost an entire week without an extra base hit. Now, as for the pitching, Carlos Rodon, it's a quality start, not his best. He's obviously experiencing a little bit of a lull right now. If you recall, 8 earned runs allowed in his last 2 starts coming into today. And despite the fact that it was a quality start, 6 innings, 3 earned, all 3 were home runs, allowed 3 home runs for the first time this season. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned, a walk, 7 Ks through 92 pitches. His season ERA is now at 3.10, and Rodon earns his 9th win of the season. Now, Devin Williams strikes out the side to win the game. He strikes out the side in the 9th inning. Needed just 16 pitches to do so. Now, it wasn't a save situation. Speaking of Luke Weaver, good news on him. And what exactly do the Yankees do? Well, we'll discuss that coming up in the next segment. Again, good news on Luke Weaver. We'll tell you exactly what it means for the Yankees moving forward. All right, just some other news and notes. Mark Leiter Jr., another scoreless frame. Same for Jonathan Loaisiga, who looks good since returning. And then obviously a scoreless frame from Devin Williams as well. The only 3 runs the Angels scored, the 3 solo home runs for the Angels, Trout, Ward, and Adele. And speaking of Trout, it's also nice to see a Yankee killer leave town. Now, obviously, he's not what he once was. However, phenomenal career against the Yankees. Trout, the solo home run came on the 9th pitch of the game. And here we go again, literally 2 minutes into the game. And Trout hits a seed of a home run. In 57 career games against the Yanks, 11 home runs. So he enjoys feasting on Yankee pitching. Glad to see him leave town. All right, we told you about the top of the order. 6 hits for the top 3. Goldschmidt had 2, Bellinger had 3, and Aaron Judge had 1. Giancarlo Stanton takes an over. So does Anthony Volpe. Now, Volpe collected an RBI tonight. However, he's in the midst of an 0 for 20 slump. We told you about Judge, 3 for his last 28 and 2 for 13 in the series. While Volpe, as we said, 0 for 20, carrying that into the Baltimore series. Now, what's interesting about Trent Grisham, as we go farther down the lineup, he led off yesterday, batted 9th today. You don't see that very often. And Grisham, once again, making his presence felt with his 14th home run, as we said, the 6th time the Yanks have gone back-to-back. Grisham and Goldschmidt, again, 6th time this season they've gone back-to-back. And for Grisham, his first home run since out in L.A. last month, May 30th. So his first home run in nearly 3 weeks of baseball in June. Again, the Yankees have been ice cold. Much better outing today, 7 runs on 12 hits. Again, the only starters without hits were Stanton, who's been pretty good since returning, and then Volpe, who's mired in that slump. Volpe's average down to 232. Now, Austin Wells had a hit as well, but he's all the way down to 218. And speaking of Jazz, he goes 2 for 4, but the average is only at 230. So there are some low averages there. Speaking of Jazz, one of those 2 hits was a bunt single. That came in the 8th inning, right before the rains came. Right after the rains came. He was the first batter after the delay. The bunt single, this was amazing. Had to mention it. Their first bunt hit here in 2025. Hard to make up, hard to believe. All right, we need to talk about the good news in the bullpen. However, it presents a question that right now we don't know the answer to. We'll do that next. Obviously, we'll get you set for the Baltimore series as well. We'll take a look at the probables and the schedule coming up next. All right, we'll start with trade. Let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual, a lifeline, the thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And if that's essential, why settle for anything less than amazing? That's where trade coffee comes in. Whether you're gearing up for back-to-back meetings, shuttling kids back and forth to activities, or tackling an endless to-do list, your morning sets the tone for it all. That's why it should start with the perfect cup of coffee crafted just for you. Enter Trade. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan or a pour-over purist, they've got a roast you'll love. The coffee, fresh, smelled amazing, and honestly, it ruined grocery store coffee for me in the best possible way. And if the first match isn't perfect, Trade will replace it for free until they get it just right. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customers 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB. That's drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB for 50% off your 1-month trial. drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB. Next up is Game Time. Have you ever at any point decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Well, maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes all of that possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, finally, some good news to report. The Yankees win a game. They score runs, they outscore the opponent, and they win a game for the first time in a week. They snap their 6-game losing skid. So, take it away.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, Grisham and Goldschmidt go back-to-back. Now, it was only in the second inning, but it proved to be enough for the Yankees. That made it 4-2 after their back-to-back home runs, and it also proved the Yankees can actually put up runs. They put up runs. They did so early. They did so often, and that leads to a victory. So kudos to Grisham and Goldschmidt for going back-to-back in the second inning. They are our players of the game. All right, as we said, 7-3, the final score, as the Yankees snap their 6-game losing skid. And we have some excellent news in regards to Luke Weaver. Believe it or not, there's a chance he returns tomorrow against Baltimore. How about that? Oswaldo Cabrera, this is just bookkeeping, if you will. He's been transferred to the 60-day IL. Yeri De Los Santos was placed on the IL with right elbow discomfort. Javier Sandridge replaces him in the bullpen. All right, now for Baltimore. They come in 4-3 Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and then, believe it or not, technically Sunday morning, 11:35 Roku game on Sunday morning. So again, Max Fried, Tomoyuki Shigano will go for Baltimore tomorrow night. Clark Schmidt, Zach Eflin on Saturday. Will Warren, Dean Kramer on Sunday. Should be really, really fun. Yanks are now 43-31. As we said, back to 12 games above 500. They're 22-15, still a very good mark at home. But again, the losing skid skewed things for sure. 6-game losing streak is over. The Yanks scored their most runs since June 11th, which was in Kansas City, and they do so in style. Rodon the win, a 7-3 tidy one for the Yanks. All right, thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also want to mention our partners in crime at Locked On Yankees, Stacey Goudsoulias and Brian McKeon. Follow, subscribe, and enjoy. Again, Yanks win it 7-3. Baltimore next in town. And next up, Max Fried. He gets the ball Friday night. Yanks will try and turn it into a win streak. Haven't seen that in a while. Of course, we'll be with you immediately following the game. Have a good night, everybody.